Open our meeting at 7:04 p.m. And approval of prior meeting minutes. We have, what's our second agenda item? We have, thanks to our most excellent, courageous Colleen. I was trying to think of a good alliteration. We have school committee minutes from September 26th to review and approve.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of September 26th.
Oh, I second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
I do want to just say, for our one person participating, we are recording the meeting for Massachusetts General Law, and if you decide you need to record at any point, just let me know. Okay. All right, awesome. So I think we're good with that agenda item. Chairperson's report.
Oh, no, we have one more meeting minutes.
Oh, we do? Where is it?
Oh, was there another one?
Yeah, there's one for the, and actually I have an amendment to it.
The tri-meeting?
Yeah, we have for the,
Oh, the joint
joint
meeting.
meeting.
So it doesn't say minutes, so then I got confused because I'm clearly
yeah, minutes. of the
limited brain
school-
capacity
Okay.
right now. Okay, so joint meeting, that one as well.
You had, yeah. So I did have a couple of consideration just to add into there, Colleen, for the finance committee, if we could add Ken Estabrook as part of a presentation. Because it has
I
Bob.
was going off the Board of Selectmen
Okay.
agenda that did not mention him
He did
as the
present, though.
presenter.
He did present.
He
though, right?
talked a little,
No?
but I think that Bob was the presenter according to Becky.
Okay. All right. So we're not gonna add him.
Well, I think it's fine to keep it that way if that's for the official. It doesn't matter either way.
Because we're not technically reporting on their portion according to Becky.
Yeah.
It's just our portion,
Okay.
but I threw that in there because she put it in her minutes.
Okay.
And I thought it'd be more well-rounded.
No, it's good. I didn't know who it was based on something else, so that's good background to
Okay.
that. I just remember him speaking about budget,
he did.
so.
Yeah, right.
So I wanted to recognize that.
Yeah, right.
He and Bob
Appreciate
kind of.
Like, he did it, and then Bob came up after, they like
Right.
had a little joking, so, but I'm, again, not totally, set on anything, I just saw that it was not there.
Anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate that you're considering. All right, so if we're ready to make a motion in relation to this one then, as,
Yeah.
all right? Well, I'll make a motion to accept the joint budget meeting minutes from February 8th, 2020.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, very good. Thank you for pointing out that one, so we did all of the things. Chairperson's report, so as we just talked about, we had our big thing this week. We had a joint budget meeting. Did we also do, like, was last week also the week when we did the finalized the contract and hired our superintendent?
Yes. A lot of meetings that was Monday, and
And then-
Tuesday was the joint meeting with the Board of
Then
Selectmen.
the joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen,
And then
where
Saturday
we
was
talked
the-
through the options for the roof after we had our meeting. And then we had our joint, the tri-board budget meeting, as they call it, joint meeting, which was on a Saturday morning from 8:30 to noon.
12:30.
Did it go to 12:30?
It did go
That's
to
right.
12:30.
That's right. And gave us the opportunity to talk through priorities, consider, as a town, a process moving forward to help engage the citizens in what lies ahead for us and what is coming to ahead that we need to consider in relation to the MSBA process. From our consideration, and that was, I think, a very robust discussion, and I feel like, so next steps that came out of that was being able to, which I need to send out, I wanted to send to figure out when we would have some blackout dates so that we're all having another tri-board shared discussion ahead, and then being able to move into some sort of laying it all out for citizens to be able to understand event, whatever fashion that may take. But I think everyone agreed that even if we don't agree on how we think per se it needs to turn out, we all agree that about the process of further having the discussion, considering all the options for how we would need to move forward financially and laying that out in front of the voters. So I think that that's a very good outcome. And I think that it really is laudable that we're at the point where we're having those kinds of discussions, even when they're difficult to have. So I appreciate everyone being able to do that. So I'm going to leave it at that, just because I think that that's enough, unless anyone had any other thing they want to make sure if I didn't represent that in a way they felt like.
I just wanted to make sure that we get that meeting, or those meetings going. After our big meeting, I happened to be there with Greg and Krista Silva, and we were talking about how the fall is definitely a better time for us to be doing that vote, because in order to educate the public in that, to push it for spring would kind of do everybody a disservice. So, but the sooner we can get those, get us all together so that we can have a cohesive plan, so that then we can start really reaching out and figuring out, how we're gonna then kind of market it. So.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm done with my report. I'm going to move into the student report.
That's
Patrick. Patrick, sometimes I see Patrick, sometimes I see Pat. What do you like?
Pat is fine.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter, though. I really don't mind. So this morning, for the recommendation of some sort of body here, school committee or school council of the high school took a vote on what they thought of changing the title of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. 19 out of the 26 members present voted for the change to Indigenous Peoples Day. Underclassmen conducted their course selection, I think, yesterday. Haven't heard anything about it, so that's probably a good thing. Senior project proposals and internship placement. The proposals are all done, so everyone has in mind what they want to do in the spring for their project, whether it be a presentation or TVAT is actually doing a really interesting project that I'm sure you'll hear about in the coming months. We also did some budgeting today, so we took starting salaries from jobs that we want to go into, put it in a spreadsheet, saw how much we'd be spending on healthcare, car insurance, gas, and we also shopped for apartments in the city that we wanted to reside in right after college and see what we could afford and what we couldn't.
It's definitely sobering, I bet.
Oh, it's really great. Boston is really expensive.
Yes.
Jordan Tucker scored 1,000 points, I think just last week, in her basketball career. In NHS, highlight of one of the service project, Victoria Signotti, Celine Paredes Celestino, and Hannah Canerney are raising money through Valentine's Candy Grams for Valentine's Day tomorrow, so they'll be passing them out for people who ordered. All the money raised will be donated to Emerson Hospital for sick children. And they're also starting planning for their second service project of the group service project of the year, which will be led by new members, including the new seniors, under direction of the officers currently. MHS Band, the Disney trip planning has been started for 2021, the April break there. They had a meeting last week. I don't know why, but they're excluding the seniors. We were not invited to the meeting, and it's very upsetting, but I guess we'll be in college when that's happening, so. Triumph Music
Tell me
Honor.
why your wisdom? I just don't understand.
I know. Triumph Music Honor Society at the high school began the first real service project last week. We sanded down all of the music stands in the high school band room and getting it ready to be painted, repainted, because they're a little old, rusty, and we're going to make them look brand new. That money was funded from admission to the movie night that was a couple weeks ago. So we're a sustainable organization. We're also continuing to do mentoring for Wind Ensemble Jazz Band every Monday and Wednesday at the middle school, so there will always be high school students at those rehearsals to help the kids learn, or if the directors need individual sections to go out and practice, the high schoolers can lead that, take some pressure off the director. The Junior Tri-M Music Honor Society induction is on February 28th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. So Tri-M Music Honor Society includes 11th and 12th graders. Junior Tri-M includes 8, 9, and 10. There's already over 20 applicants submitted. It's still due tomorrow, and we know how kids like to do things late. So I'm sure that number will skyrocket, and we're very excited to introduce them to the Tri-M family and do some more service projects with them. Pops Night happened last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. No, last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. Ooh, God. Last Friday, there was a bunch of performances. I was honestly impressed by everyone. It was like the best Pops Night I've ever seen. There's a lot of talent. And a bunch of kids from the communications classes won top spots in the 2019 MIAA Sportsmanship Video PSA competition. And we're the only school that won like several awards, right? It was in the email. It was a very impressive
Yeah.
precedent that we sent to the MIAA and surrounding areas, so we're very proud of that.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask, so you said you went through real fast. The high school council voted to make a recommendation on a name change to the calendar? Is that
Yeah,
right?
so we were asked opinions, and then we voted at the end of discussion.
That's the student council?
Yep, so that's
Okay, student- okay,
representatives.
not the school council, that's what I was trying to.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
So
there's
I know
a
you're
lot
on
of
the,
different
you're on
groups.
the school council as well?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm class of 2020 president. I'm required to go to the the student body and student government. Student government is class, like individual
Yeah.
grades, and then student council is all of the grades that come together as like a federal government and like.
So this is
local
a student-led,
government. Correct.
okay,
Yeah,
got it.
under direction of Ms. LaBelle.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Thanks, Patrick.
Very good. Thank you. It's a lot of very cool stuff to be hearing about.
Yes.
It's just, yeah, so, thank you.
A lot of happenings.
All right, so we are going to move into interim superintendent report.
Yep. I have a lot of stuff on there. You all have a copy of my attendance reports, of my superintendent's
I
report.
did print it out, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to probably read every line, but I'll skim it, but you have a copy of everything. So we attended a workshop on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, sponsored by DESE. It was on mass tiered systems of support. The workshop provided sessions to ensure that schools proactively identify and address the strengths and needs of all students, and about decision-making process, progress monitoring, and evidence-based supports. And other ways to sustain student growth. Our focus was from theory to practice, and that's kind of what we focused on. How are we going to use the tiered supports in the classrooms? Maynard Public Schools review the K through 5 literacy program beginning the 2019-20 school year. The purpose of this review will be to evaluate the aspects of district's elementary literacy program and develop an action plan for program improvement. The district will use a process developed by Medway Public Schools, and it's the basis for our curriculum review.
And this is what
this
you
is-
spoke
this
of
is-
like in August, right? Okay. Great.
Pardon?
No, I just remembered this sounded familiar. I thought Jennifer spoke to this in August, so
yep.
I just, great.
So it's underway, and I would say this is, so each of the sections are in there, and this initiative is being led by Jennifer Goddard.
Very interesting.
So,
I saw that too, yeah.
so I've shared the Assabet Valley Collaborative annual report in your school committee packet. We're required to share this with you on a yearly basis. I don't have cases yet. They're not done with it. We're still working on the budget for them. So you do have a copy of that in there. Technology updates came from Adam. He's doing a great job. He has the Innovative Learning Community, formerly known as Digital Learning Community. They had our first meeting today. It said Thursday afternoon, but it was today. So they'd like to add a parent representative and student representative before the March meeting. Today there was 5 people there, Jennifer? Yeah, 5 people today, so we'd like to have more people involved if possible. So we'll be sending out a family email with some technology updates and informations over the February break to address some of these things. So Maynard Public Schools website, we hope to see some improvements in the next several weeks, including a clearer navigation and more text content above the fold instead of that one thing that keeps moving all the time. So hopefully.
I like the version, I like the example, the thing on the top, the
Yeah.
bar. That looks pretty cool.
So he's working on it. He's doing a good job. So we're reviewing staff survey data related to classroom technology and professional development, and discuss what should be considered basic technology for each classroom in the district. So they want to make sure they move forward to a consistent blueprint that every teacher and student can count on in every classroom. So Adam's been working pretty diligently on that. Okay, over February vacation, they were making some adjustments to student Chromebooks. That will include installing a security content filtering extension to all student Chromebooks. So this software will provide additional security during the school day and a basic level of filtering when our one-to-one students take their devices home. So that's new. So it is meant to supplement and not replace the supervision of technology to use at home. And we're going to set up student Chromebooks in a preset at Maynard K through 12 when logging in. So this will allow students to log in without typing their whole username. And the last but not least, the technology program is working with the federal E-rate program to help supplement its capital requests at the Springtown meeting. One of the things they're putting in that is district wireless access point, which are reaching the end of its life, and the federal E-rate program will pay for half of this project. And the second smaller request is funds to replace failing smart boards at Green Meadow School. So those are the things that are happening.
The last piece about the federal E-rate program.
Yep.
Was that the grant that Adam went for before he even started? What was that grant
No.
that he applied for?
That was a digital learning grant.
Yeah.
And, it was different than what he had anticipated it being, so we made a determination that
Yeah.
it wasn't.
It was too much.
It wasn't funding that we needed.
Okay.
Essentially, anyway,
Okay.
so we didn't go.
No,
Didn't
the
work.
answer is
Not
no.
the right, not the
Okay,
same grant.
all right.
The E-rate is a pretty good program. What's really good about this E-rate program right now is they are taking care of everything. We don't have to do anything.
Wow.
So in the past, we had to take care of it ourselves, but with this new program, we hired somebody to do it, and all we have to do is submit it, and they do everything for us.
Wow, fantastic.
Nice.
So
They were
why
very-
not?
Yeah, Green Meadow was very excited to hear about their,
Yeah.
yeah,
of fresh
this
air. This is
potential
great.
smart boards.
So Adam's doing a
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah, bang up job. You can let them know.
Terrific.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
So now we're going to move into agenda item number 6. It's citizens' comments. If anyone does have anything to say, just ask them up, say your name, and.
Our citizen-
Nothing, Jen?
Too much, Mary.
Now's your chance.
Well, you have another chance later on in the day if you think about
There
it.
is
so-
another chance to make during the meeting.
Try to be silent today.
Okay, then we will move on. Next is our school committee goals final review. For this one, we will discuss, just so people are aware, we did just have a workshop. We've been working with these for a while, but we wanted to make sure that we had returned to them and done our final review, and then within subcommittees, we will work with some SMART goals and that align within the overarching goals that we've created. So there'll be some shorter term SMART goals within the subcommittees. And then, and it's nothing, just so everyone knows that has seen them, that's on the leadership team, it's nothing different. We were just tweaking and making sure we felt the language was what we wanted it to be, so that's what we did tonight. One of the goals was a successful superintendent search.
Amen. We can-
Check that one off.
we should let them cross things off.
Yeah. So tonight is if there's anything we want to discuss about this in particular, and then we do want to vote to make sure that we have these as our final and understanding that we can return and tweak as we go. It's a living document, but that we know we all are agreeing and that we know this is what we're working from for the rest of the remainder of the year.
So basically, we just need to make a motion to
Just accept them.
accept them, right? The ones that.
Yeah, unless there's any further discussion out of we just met for an hour to make sure, and already people have been doing their own, we had assigned individuals to sections so that people were individually working on the pieces to then bring to the full committee. So there's been a lot of pre-work that's gone into this. So unless there's any discussion to be had, we just need to vote.
No, I just wanted to, 'cause I know Jennifer and Mary, and I know Mary Jane, we're meeting, I know, after the break, and so one of the things we added on there was about student retention to we had talked about it like in August, but we hadn't actually had a chance to meet yet. So part of that agenda, I added it on there just for us to have in our conversation.
What are we talking about?
A plan about student retention.
Student retention.
Yeah.
There's somewhere out there, I had just mentioned this when we were talking about it. There was a student retention plan out there somewhere where someone had started throwing together the different things. I think it had been like, it wasn't a final and comprehensive thing. It was kind of like, let's
Still
try
launching-
to start
it was like a
coalescing
launching pad,
the
like
different
point.
things that are happening in relation to that.
Yeah, so when we meet on the 24th, I think we have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about it.
I'll do a little bit of research
I can look and see if I can find what I remember, because I have it in my mind's eye, but, and again, it was just,
Yeah, I don't even remember having the conversation.
yeah, it wasn't a final thing for sure.
I know we talked about it a lot when Dr. Girardi was here, ongoing
Yeah.
conversation, but not a plan.
So, very good. So any other discussion in particular around the goals?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the final version of the school committee goals for school year or FY '20.
I'll second.
All in favor? Oh, I forgot to ask if there was further discussion. All in favor? Very good. So we can then make sure those are posted, make sure we pass them along so those can be posted. That sound good? All right, I will pass those along so they can be posted.
Oh, definitely. I think though, that SMART goals section at the
We can-
bottom.
Yeah.
I think we can probably just delete that part.
Yeah,
I think we'll
what
just-
I'll do is separate that out, because that can just be a guide for our subcommittees to have the SMART. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. So now we're gonna move into number 8, which is the policy update.
Yes, there were some duplicates in there for some reason.
So this one, we can see, so just to, as a reminder, so as part of the,
No,
do you need to say something?
I'm sorry?
You guys get over there.
Yeah, she just had a question over some of the policies.
Something I was just gonna.
Colleen, thank you. So I'm gonna, we have a very motivated policy subcommittee. It's very satisfying and exciting. So I'm gonna let Mary Jane and Lydia lead the charge as far as we have some for first reading and some for second reading. So go right ahead.
So do we want to do first readings or do we want to do votes first?
Well, we do the second readings.
Okay.
Yeah, let me
We
pull
already-
up.
yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
second readings.
Yep.
Let me put my feedback again.
BBBC, which is committee member resignation. This is new. We don't have an
Right.
equivalent, so we are just voting to adopt it. Now, because the town is revisiting their charter in terms of elections and resignations and unfilled term, what is it?
The procedure, or?
Yeah, unexpired term fulfillment. We may have to revisit this again, but for now, it is straight from Mask. We didn't have to edit anything, so.
Should we wait though until, because this is the one that, hold on. Till they,
I think we can send it to them to kind of push them, or?
You're talking about this one? This is the one we didn't edit. This is just, we're
Right.
adopting this, it's probably not gonna be affected by what the town does. We need to have it on the books.
Yeah.
It's the other one that we might.
It's the other one that had a major revision.
Yep.
That is technically a first read.
okay.
That one, that's the one we're.
And so,
And Mara, just so you know, I did put a period and, in the final version. It's not on this wasn't the copy, the version that got.
and we don't want to include language about reference to the town charter,
Not on this one,
not on this one.
not on this one.
There is the other one, the
The
next
other one is the
Okay.
one that we need to discuss that.
BBBE.
Yeah, BBB.
So just to also.
This is just for the school committee. It's for our purposes.
We've had times before when people resigned and there was nothing to say how it works or anything like that, so it's a good, pretty straightforward. I'll make a motion.
Are we doing it both, we can't do both together?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'll make a motion at least for discussion. I'll make a motion that we accept the school policy BBBC, school committee member resignation.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Is it, you said town, it will go to town clerk?
This will not. The other one that we had a heavy edit will. because that's the one that incorporates part of the language in the town charter. This one has nothing to do with the town charter.
I know, but that was probably the part of the issue that she had when I spoke with her, was that, some of the things with the state, which Mask is taking from, don't align with the town charter.
Right, and that's in the unexpired term fulfillment. That's not how school committee member resignation.
I think I would feel more comfortable though if she looked over it, just because she actually explicitly was talking about school committee resignation process through the conversation.
But not,
That process in relation to the town is all outlined in BBBE, which is the
Yeah.
one that we would send to her. This one is just,
This is just what constitutes a reason for resigning. That the town has,
Okay.
but
You
if,
don't need to get involved, yeah.
I mean, we can vote.
I'm ready to vote.
okay. Any further discussion? All right. Then, all in favor of the motion on the table? All opposed?
I'm staying.
All abstained? Okay. So then the next one, you go ahead, Lydia, I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, so the next one that we are voting on is,
the unexpired term.
the unexpired term, which, we can't vote on, well, this is a first read. If everyone is familiar with it.
second read.
Well, because technically we reviewed it at the last
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
but it's the first read since we edited it. So we took the comments from the last meeting and incorporated them and did research and used some of the charter language in this. So we can vote to accept it and then it will, or I guess what it is right now we should read it, we should decide if we like the way it is phrased at this point, it will go to legal, will go to town legal, then we will vote on it.
So just to be clear, this previously, what we based this on was a previous consultation with town legal, but that was now like a year and a half ago.
And
So with that in mind, and given that they were considering some new changes, and additionally, we did specify some things in here that they said you can specify, town council said you can specify, but we still want to make sure that BOS is on board with that and thank you. So, we made sure to include, there was, town charter language that wasn't in here that we felt would be good to specify about if we didn't give notice within 30 days of the vacancy, then the board of selectmen could just move forward and fill it. And that wasn't in BBBE previously, so we just thought it would be good to make sure that if we were outlining this, that we included that in one place where we would be looking to it when we were trying to figure this out. So it's in there now.
so the only thing that I have about this is that because we've altered it so much,
Yeah.
I don't know that we should cite mask as the source. I think that
I think it is a source, you have to cite
well,
it.
a source, but not the source, and just,
Oh, no, it's
you know,
just, it's a source, you still have to cite it. We use a lot of, we did use, like, even the opening sentence you're using from there, so it doesn't mean that you're only using that.
right, what I'm saying is what else are we going to put as the source, not instead of,
Town
but in
charter?
addition to.
Yeah, town charter. Right?
I don't know if there's something we can do about the wording of this last sentence, that in the event that there are two new electees. I had to read it probably 3 or 4 times to finally get what it was trying to say.
Okay.
So,
Is that, I think I had the same thing, in the vacancy of an
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same feedback on that, it was confusing to me when I read, that part.
Okay, so how would you rephrase it?
I don't know, because now it makes sense.
Well, I wasn't sure actually what we're trying to,
Well, the thing is so last year, because there were specific seats with specific
Right.
terms, you had to choose which seat you went for. Generally, in an election, you just put your name in, and if there are 2 3-year seats available, then whoever the first 2 people that get the top number of votes, they fill those seats. So the thing is that if there is an election and 2 people are elected, but there's only 1 seat that has been vacated, and if that person is going to start immediately, this is how you would determine which of the 2 who were elected would start in that position. It's the person who received the most votes. So that's the intention, but if that doesn't come across, then we need to rewrite the sentence, but that's what I'm trying to say.
So when you go, because I know when you go to pull papers, you have to specify which seat you're running for.
Yep.
Just say school committee.
Can
No, you
maybe,
have to specify like
You have to
3-year
pick which-
or 1 year.
Right,
3-year or
3-year or
1 year,
1 year.
but
Yeah, but not for
normally,
it's just a
normally
3-year.
it's just
Right.
3-year.
Right.
Like, last year and this year are,
An anomaly.
yeah.
what if we, instead of just say we'll fill the vacancy, fill the,
The term?
The vacated seat.
right,
Okay, yep,
yeah. Because
Okay.
I think that's where,
yep.
So,
And also the, using, elected, like there's something in here about appointed, in the paragraph above, for appointed.
Yeah.
So this is the person so elected. I think I just want to
that
make
was,
sure.
yeah, I know, that was language that came from
Yeah.
previously.
But I know it's very specific in the charter, and I know some people are very sticklers
But-
about
but
appointed
the-
versus elected when you're appointed by the Board of Selectmen and the
But-
school council.
So, but we're talking about the person who is being appointed to fill the vacated seat, so they aren't elected, they're appointed.
Right, and then the next sentence, though, is what I'm asking, it says that the person so elected. I would just say change that.
Oh, right, so change that, so appointed, got it,
yeah.
yep,
Just because it's the same action.
right.
yep, yep. Okay,
Oh, and in the back here, when we're citing Mass Legal, it's, I think that was off. I think it's supposed to be 41.11. Well,
okay.
Yeah, I just-
I'll have to look, because
yeah, just look at that.
that came straight from
I
Mass,
think
so.
of one that, when I looked at Mass.
Sometimes the general laws change a little bit, they take stuff
Yeah.
out or whatever, so that might just be. I think I
Yeah.
looked at one of those and those, the numbers were off.
So 41.11 or 4.11?
41.11 is what I saw on the mask.
Okay.
One, but
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going back to this last sentence above the yellowed part. In the event that there are 2 new electees to fill 2 unspecified 3-year terms, then the 2 people that are going for them would fill both vacancies.
No,
Am I
no, no,
understanding it wrong?
they'd fill the seats that they were running for. What we're talking about is the vacated seat that was left by an unexpired term.
So if the vacancy of an expiring term takes place within 60 days of the corresponding town election.
Right.
The
I
elected
understand that.
successor for the new term would commence immediately
Right,
following the
understand
election.
that. Yeah, it's just,
So if we look at last year's election.
Right.
That would have meant that Lydia.
But I did, I stepped right into.
No, I know,
yeah.
but we had to.
We had to vote on
appoint
that.
you. We
Oh,
had-
right.
Right, but this is saying that automatically you would have just stepped in
The word language doesn't say
to
that.
Justin's.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so we need to work on that
we need
language,
to
and we
work
don't
on
need to figure it
that.
out
Right,
right
we
now.
don't need to do it
okay.
right now,
All
but
right,
this
so we'll
paragraph just
rework
needs to
that.
make more sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, take a look.
Yeah,
And then
because it
there's
doesn't.
the part about,
I couldn't understand the whole
Yeah,
process, so I
I'm
just
reading
said,
it.
okay.
and
it's very
going,
honestly
don't
convoluted, even on the town
understand.
charter, because what's
Oh, I
on
know,
the
it's
chart,
awful.
what's on the
It's awful.
bylaw doesn't align with the charter also.
So, yeah, so we'll need to reword that
Okay.
piece. At the same time, I think we can concurrently send it to legal before we have it back for a final votes, because we need to make sure that we get it right. But you understand the intention of what we meant here, and you agree
Yeah.
with the intention, it's just making sure the wording.
I think I was, yeah, I just was trying to follow what we were trying
Very
to,
good.
right, intention of
Okay.
that last sentence.
So that's good. So we have our marching orders for this one.
School choice.
So now we're moving into first readings, Lydia?
Yep. So we'll do, let's do BDFA, which is school councils. So the previous school council policy was actually a procedure and not really a policy. So we're gonna move that into the procedures manual. And this policy is straight from Mass. We didn't alter it at all. And this is a first reading, but if everyone is familiar and comfortable with it, we can just go ahead and vote if we want to.
So my only thing is that I didn't realize what this was about, because it doesn't say school councils
Right, I
up
know,
here,
sorry,
so,
yep.
But I'm assuming it will when we put it in our normal.
When we put it,
Yeah.
yes, so it
Okay.
should have said school council here. I
Okay.
just was going on automatic. Instead of writing school council, I wrote school committee,
Okay.
whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So I had a question on
Yeah.
number 4.
Okay.
Resident students will be given priority placement in any classes or programs.
Wait,
That's choice, right?
We're on,
We're on
sorry.
school council.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the
I thought
wrong
you
one.
said choice
Oh,
too,
I'm
so
already up there. Oh, you're looking at that one. Okay, when we get
yeah,
to.
we'll get to that one. A lot of policies.
So
Which one is this
I
one?
had a question
BFA?
to
Oh, this
see
one.
if we could add strategic plan into the sentence. We talk about the budget, let me see where I put that at. Oh, here, decisions, on the second paragraph, decisions which are made at the school level must be aligned with budget, policies, curriculum, strategic plan, and long-term.
Isn't that what long-range and short-range goals are?
Well, just maybe we can clarify strategic plan then, is, I
You
mean,
wanna
just my
put in the
feedback.
words, strategic plans, long-range and short-range goals?
Yeah, I just feel like it's helpful to explicitly add it there.
Okay, so,
Strategic plans, long-range and short-range goals.
Do we have to have 2 ranges?
not necessarily. Nope.
I don't know,
Oh, and I
I
did
do think it
see,
is good to have two, because the short range are
Well-
for that year, and the long range are the overarching.
No, I know, but I'm saying long dash and short dash
Oh, yeah, and you don't need
range.
two ranges.
Right,
Yes,
that's what I
oh,
mean.
got it.
That's what I
Yep,
mean.
yep.
literally, the
Yes,
word,
the word
Our
range.
wordsmith person.
Oh, and then on the second paragraph, you have school with a small s, and then that was driving me bananas, and you have district with a capital D. And I didn't,
District is capital if you're referring to the school district.
Yeah.
so is not school
Official title.
capital D, so it would mean Maynard School, would that be, because it doesn't specify Maynard, it's just district.
But if you're using it
So
as
if
a
that,
term as
that
Maynard
should be
School
capital
District,
too,
it should
isn't
be
it?
capital.
It doesn't say Maynard, it just says school district. Should we,
So, well,
school
we
would
could take
be-
out school and just say the district.
If you do
No,
the
no.
district, it's fine, but.
All right, we'll
it
take a
can be
look at
capital, is all I'm
the
saying.
Yeah.
formatting.
Certainly can be, but you can-
It just looked weird a little bit, that's why I wasn't sure.
I tend to use it if I'm referring to a body of, but I'm not an English major, so.
If you see, any little things like that, that's something, if you see any little, you can just, let us.
Yeah, it's, no.
Yeah, let us know so we can fix those for the final second reading.
Okay, so we'll do the edits and then vote on this next time.
Okay.
Okay, anything else to see on those? You can send along to us.
It's on the feedback I posted, so.
Perfect. And thank you for doing that, that's very helpful.
Alrighty.
This.
So now let's do JFBB. So the difference, there was a lot of confusion
This is
between.
school choice.
School choice, JFBB and JFBB-1. JFBB is for schools who opt to do school choice. This would, if we decide to go with this version, it would replace school committee policy 513. They basically say the same thing. I don't think that we necessarily have to adopt this one over 513.
Yeah, it was just very interesting, because that was a recently revised, the one that, for Maynard.
Right.
It was recently done, just like not
Well,
even
we
2 years
decided
ago.
to do it because the discussion of school choice came up recently, and I think I can't remember what the issue was, but we just wanted to make sure that we had it all,
Because it talked about, which was different, about doing drawings twice a year, in the original, like Maynard's district, Maynard's does not say that, but the Mass one talks about it. I don't know how
Really?
that lift would work
I don't
from,
No.
recommend. It's too hard because you have to get
It
the
is.
funding.
but I didn't know if it was a legal precedent where you needed to do two.
So you're recommending we keep 513?
I recommend we just do one.
Well, so no, so
I don't
JFBB,
have my-
JFBB-1 is for school districts that choose not.
Right, you don't have both.
Right,
We're
no,
just-
we're gonna do
No,
school choice.
no, but she's saying only do one drawing. That's what she's saying.
Oh,
one.
right. So
Right?
then we would keep policy 513.
So there will be 2 drawings, the first one.
So maybe we just change the name on it.
Right, like
The
we
name-
did with the
right.
bullying.
Just have it.
We just
I mean,
adopted.
I suppose you could do 2 drawings if you just make sure it's done before, like July.
Well, but that's like,
It just seemed like a bigger lift, like from, and I don't know how that would work on your level, but so if we're adopting something that's mandated
I-
to do a certain way, it seemed,
and I think it warrants a
we don't have that
larger
many spots
discussion.
To do 2, honestly, we don't have enough spots to do 2 drawings, so I
No.
really don't think you need to
No.
be honest with you.
okay.
do one drawing.
One is fine.
Right, and that's, this policy just seemed like it would require 2, and I was like, oh, is there really a need to do?
Because we don't have.
Yeah,
For
okay.
planning purposes.
So maybe we just make a motion, to keep the one and just change the name?
Change the
To the BB.
indexing to the JFBB.
We already voted to change all indexing, so we don't need to
Oh,
vote
then
on
there you
that.
go.
Yeah.
So I've got,
What?
this is the one that I had the question on number.
Okay.
Okay, so we're looking at the Maynard 513 that we're going to keep in place.
Yep.
On number 4, it says resident students will be given priority placement in any classes or programs. Resident students aren't choicing in.
But it just,
No,
that's
I
the
think-
Is
state.
it like,
How I read
For
that.
like classrooms that maybe have limited enrollment, you know, like AP classes, is that what it?
oh,
Or like Spanish,
that doesn't
Spanish
follow the
immersion?
school.
I think it would be
Doesn't-
more like the WAVM program, the
Oh,
adjournment
But
program.
okay, it doesn't
Right.
seem
I
like
don't
it.
think we can exclude school choice students from like
Okay,
4 classes.
Yeah.
okay.
But
Oh, I see what, okay.
Things that
I
have limited
see.
placement.
I
I think that's
see.
how I read it as well,
Right.
but.
Okay.
So then do we want to specify, for
Yes.
example,
Yes.
WAVM
Yeah,
or
'cause
Spanish
see, I was
immersion?
looking going, this doesn't make any sense.
That might be
Yeah.
clarified for people. I think that's,
Exactly.
it's funny that you say that, Mary, because I was kind of,
I know, I'm scratching my head going, what is this?
yeah, right, for specific courses, you don't want to
Right.
oversubscribe.
Exactly.
But then
Yeah.
again, it might be how people are coming, but I guess if we have
Yeah, I would
spots.
say chapter 74.
Right.
Yeah, chapter 74.
Chapter
focus.
74?
Okay.
Do we want to use like the innovation pathway and
I,
the early college pathways, but those generally aren't going to have limited
Yeah.
numbers of seats.
Right. So the WAVM is appropriate.
So
I
chapter
would say chapter
74
program.
and Spanish immersion?
such as, but not
No.
limit,
Yeah.
so maybe like such as, but not limited
Yeah.
to, Spanish immersion.
EG does that.
Right,
EG.
yeah,
EG,
yeah.
that's-
Yeah, yeah,
That's examples, but not.
Right.
not,
Chapter
not,
74, you're kind of constrained anyway by numbers because you can't oversubscribe just based on the chapter 74 regulations. So
We do
really, that
have-
would really be,
In
One.
in the enrollment policy,
yeah,
for that, we do have specific language about resident students.
Yeah.
first.
yeah.
That's right.
So that's
Okay.
good.
Okay, so JFBB, and so,
so we're gonna adopt that one and not,
right, but are we okay with this, or do we want to go back and edit it and then vote on it the next
You
meeting?
can vote on it and
You can
say-
vote with that edit
Yeah.
if we want. So I'd entertain a motion if you'd like to.
I'll make a motion to accept or the school committee policy 513 that is now going to be called JFBB with the edit in number 4.
Okay.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, very good.
Great, and so that means we don't have to do the other one, right?
Yep, done with that one.
Yeah, JFBB-1 is, I mean, it's part of the whole packet of the mask
Right.
policy, so we
So
don't,
now
I
that we
mean,
have this one, we don't have that one.
yeah, that one, that is if in the future, should we ever decide to not participate in school choice at all, then we would adopt JFBB-1.
But you have to have a public hearing to do that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what, it did talk about it in that one, but I know that the sentence, the first sentence in both of them is, says this district, you know, participates or does not participate. which is the
Okay,
difference.
so the next one, IMD, which is policies 260 and 261, the recognition of religious beliefs and customs and observances of religious holidays. These were last updated in April of 2013. And the mask, and I just added 260 and 261 because I realized that I hadn't put it in the folder. I have copies here if people want to read them quickly. The mask one basically generalizes and covers both of them. If we were to, we discussed last time, specifying something about not assigning tests or homework over religious holidays, if we decided to do that, and we had a difficult time finding that policy.
Homework policies.
So, yeah, so what we would end up doing is change the homework policy,
It was
not the
Yes,
just say
religious
stay away from
observance
vacations.
policy.
No,
So,
it should definitely be in the homework, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, so that is what we will work on for next time, is editing the homework policy. Were you gonna say something?
I think, were we going to be doing that one this time? Because that was was that one of interest to you in particular? Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, we didn't get to it yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
So-
Carry on.
We have to really do some, we don't have it, so it's gonna take some time to.
Exactly, and we're gonna have to put it by legal and,
Yep.
you know. So anyway, so if people feel comfortable with this, I think that it is better than what we have because it's more current and the language is a little more sensitive to cultural and religious differences. I'm trying to.
So is this pretty much mask? Is this the?
This is mask,
it?
like, complete from,
Complete, so-
yeah,
They took the two policies and made it one.
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm gonna share my feedback.
Do
on
it.
what I-
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of questions, when I was looking at them all, was, I just wondered how, this might impact implementation of the holiday shopping at Green Meadow, which is very much, has, you know,
Yeah.
Christmas.
Oh, Mama, don't go there.
I'm just wanna be thoughtful about impact, okay?
Tradition.
Okay, well,
Right, well, no,
anyway,
but-
I just wanna put it out, okay, let me
know.
just finish through my, because it's a
Yeah, you go
consideration of
ahead.
impact.
You go right ahead, yeah.
You know,
We
how.
could turn it and call it seasonal shopping instead
Okay,
of holiday
anyway,
shopping.
I'm not saying yea or nay, I just want to be thoughtful
I know.
of impact, okay? How this would impact a play that we just, like Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is based on a biblical story.
I don't think it's promoting a religious preference, though.
Right,
But
and
it's
it
in-
does say.
I don't know, I'm just asking because
Yep.
it is,
Yeah.
it has.
Yeah, like, because you can still read passages from the Bible in class as long as you're looking at it as a literature piece and not,
Okay,
A prophecy.
Yes.
Right.
okay.
can I get a witness?
The other part too was, it didn't for me feel that it took into account tolerance of customs that policy 260 does, more so. Which it says instead of 260 talks about recognition of religious belief and customs. And I don't feel that it really addressed that aspect about respecting, mutual respect among students and parents, involving race, culture, all those other things. And
Which one? The 260?
260. Yeah, I think it focused a lot more on the holiday, but not about the tolerance piece.
Yep.
That I think is important to think about maybe incorporating.
Well,
But this is a policy, you have to, you know, how do you, I guess that's the repercussions of that, and you have to really.
Right, we have a policy, so I would be cautious about adopting a policy that removes language
Well,
where
you know what
we've
we
already
can-
established about tolerance.
what we can do is keep 260 and adopt the mask one to
Yep.
cover 261. And
Yep.
that way, we don't have to,
Yep, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, because it says instead of school system will encourage all students and staff to appreciate and be tolerant of each other's religious views, opportunities, economic background, religious belief, in the spirit of tolerance. I just like that language, and I felt like the proposed maybe was void of something that recognized that.
You can still label it the same way, but just put like a dash one or something.
right, exactly. So this could be IMD dash,
One?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think that's the naming
Yeah.
convention it looked
Yep.
like.
Yep.
You can do that.
So, I think that sounds like a nice solution. and then the other consideration is, so where it does say you aren't promoting the religious aspects of holidays, so I think things like a holiday shop, it could be very well, I really appreciate your considering implications.
I just been thinking about community impact.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
because I know that is a very, to your point, a long tradition.
25 years of
And-
tradition.
But
and
still,
just-
it's still just a holiday. It's
It's-
not,
right,
it's
right.
not like it's saying it's Christmas.
Right. I think that's
Yeah.
why they worded it that way.
The other thing too is, it's not an issue until someone makes it an issue, right? And like, so if nobody has a problem with the holiday shop, and I don't think this says that we can't do the holiday shop, it's not like we would be going against our own policy.
I agree, however, it is good to be proactive because
Yeah.
when you're doing the
No.
policy.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it does seem to, what caught me as the language was something about, we're not in the business of, it just really went more, we do have a strong conservative community base here, and it really, to me, swung that into a different realm where we're not in the business of, which is true, but I think sometimes communities need time to digest that a little bit, and I just want to be thoughtful about.
Maybe if we adopt this, we can get rid of the mural in the GM cafeteria.
Oh, goodness. Right.
So why don't we we could even return to Mask and ask them for and just see if there's, based on the intention of this, is there is language we can add to ensure that we're
Okay.
not precluding ourselves from doing something like the holiday
Right.
shop.
Right, I just don't want it to set up to that, have that impact,
Yep.
that unintended.
All right, is there anything else that we can think of that might potentially be impacted by this? Is there anything that goes on at the high school, like the Santa, the telethon?
It's not, that's not, I think that would fall in the same, like there's,
Like, I
the
think,
secular aspects are being highlighted as it says you can do, as opposed to, it's the spirit of giving, it's not like, this is the day Jesus was born, everybody, and so it, like that, you know,
Right.
it's really, so I think I think that's another, it's a good thing to just be sure that we,
Just being thoughtful of
Yeah.
the things that we do right now,
Yep.
and how that
Right.
could be impacted.
Yep.
It really is a public service.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So we can just make sure in
Worst
talking
case,
to
we'll
Mass,
change the name.
well, we can return them and just make sure that
okay.
wording
So
doesn't
then,
include that.
this is for discussion with Mask. And then we will have a second review.
And then, yeah, the only other thing was, but it sounds like we're gonna move that into the homework policy was the language
Correct,
to allow
yep.
for, yeah.
Do we want to reference the homework policy, though, on this? For the actual
Oh, maybe like
pieces?
cite the homework
We
policy.
could.
Just to segue?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I
And
think
again, you can just put that back on there.
that wouldn't be a bad thing to do.
Just that,
Or at the bottom of the homework one, you can cross-reference.
Yeah, you can
Right.
reference policy.
Yep.
yeah, cool.
You just
Yep,
have to make a note of that.
Right.
yep,
Got that, Leah?
yep.
Very good.
All right, last one
Homework, or social media.
is social media. So, we had sent the social media policy that Mary and Dr. Girardi worked on last year. We sent it to legal to get it vetted, and then it turns out that it's incomplete. There are missing sentences and paragraphs and whatnot. So, we didn't feel as though we could continue editing it because we didn't really understand some, yeah?
I do have an update.
Okay, yay.
However, that being said, we have to run that social media policy by the unions because it does affect the staff as far as disciplinary actions.
The mask one or
Yes.
the?
The one that we did.
Okay, so here's what I'm suggesting.
I think that's what
is-
Sarah had suggested also when we had.
But if we use masks, I don't think we have to because ours is
So-
so specific.
Oh, I see.
Right, so that's what I would suggest is that we adopt the mask
I like
version.
the mask. Yeah, that was fun.
But I think we need to look at it before we do that.
There were some things in the mask, I liked it, it talked a lot more about teachers, and I think, my thought was that it should speak also about.
I liked your idea.
Yeah, school personnel,
I liked that.
not just teachers in particular.
Could be district personnel, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yes.
Right, but I just think that that was something that I wanted to make sure the language, so that might mean, editing it, but I just think it is not just that one population. Really is everyone who needs
But
to
I
be
will
held to
also
that.
verify to make sure that that's also not the case with the MASC one, but I will double check.
Yeah,
Great.
and then,
Yep.
I think there was something else about, and then there was another policy that I just thought was, something that was about the electronic messaging from school committee that I suggested that maybe look into that.
I don't know what that is, we'll have to take a look at it.
Okay, and again, because we were originally reviewing the one that Mary and Bob had done, and this is just a first review, first discussion, we don't have to adopt the mask one tonight.
And just, see if there's.
Yeah, I'd like to look at it again, I don't have it in front of me.
So
either,
if we make any if we don't make alterations, then we can just approve it, but if we make any alterations, we have to go through the union?
No, I just want to verify that.
So that we know what we're working with.
The only thing we have, what my understanding is, if it says in there staff will be
It
penalized
does.
in any way, shape, or form, then it has to be run by them.
And it does say that, because I think that's actually one of the sentences, the
Yeah.
last sentence is when an inappropriate use of computers is discovered,
Can be cause for disciplinary action.
right, can
Yeah.
cause a disciplinary including termination. And I also, Lexington policy had, they're similar, they actually had something in the beginning that said that the superintendent or designees will periodically monitor. I don't know,
I mean, we could.
well, I mean, you don't have to, but at least it
Yeah.
allows for.
You have that language in there.
Yeah,
Feel
if
like-
you
I
have
feel like we
language
throw
in
them.
there, it just allows
Yeah,
for
we
the
talked about that,
understanding that it's on our server,
No,
that we
right.
have access
Well,
to
that-
anything on our
absolutely.
server that can be monitored at all time, and.
That gives the right to do it.
Right,
It
exactly.
just
So
is
I-
explicit, like, it's within
Yeah.
the right that anyone,
They do that with BU too, they just
Right.
kind of, there's this blanket,
Right.
like,
Yep.
hey, look,
look, we have,
you
right,
can check out anything you're doing at any time.
Absolutely.
right,
Right.
right, it's not, exactly, I know that we do that at Harvard as well, so it's not, but I just think sometimes because it involves union implications, it might be good to explicitly indicate
I
that,
think that's a good idea.
because I think it's a bigger lift than what people are used to sometimes.
Yep.
Okay,
Good job.
yeah,
Thank you.
Lots of homework there.
all right, so that's it for policies. We went over on that, but we knew we were gonna have a bunch, and I was looking at other things going under, so
Still
we're
having
still
good time.
in good time. So, next agenda item number 9 is represented roles on the Green Meadow Future Committee. So this is on here just because we wanted to make sure that we were allowing for the flexibility that was going to be useful as far as the appointee for the Green Meadow Future Committee that was from the administration. Right now, it's for, to be able to bring back to Green Meadow, so the principals. So our liaison to Green Meadow Future Committee is Natasha. I don't know if you'd want to say a little more about this and just help the committee to consider ahead of the vote?
Sure. So, so there's two things really. There's one,
I don't know if you want to say anything.
as we are going into the MSBA process, it needs to just be known that they have a very specific formula to the makeup of a building, the committee. And so part of what was discussed even at their recent meeting was just outlining that they understood that there's gonna be a change at some point, which will, the formula of how the makeup will happen. That was one piece that we also will just need to have a conversation about at some point. The second piece was about ensuring that we have administrative liaison on the committee that is able to just to participate, because that role is just so vital to the sharing of information, receiving it from the community and staff, and also disseminating it. And so recognizing that the demands are high at some point, and that some staff have had some personal things going on in their life. There was the concern about not having someone there all the time, and so it seemed like it's shared with the school council or the committee today, which was that Donna and Tim basically worked out something that to ensure that there always will be a representative there. to be able to help, because I think that's where some of the like parent volunteers, they can't really do or really solve some of the things or give information as much or bring things back up as the administrator will. So, so I think what we need to think about is, just because we had voted on Donna specifically as the rep, is how we want to maybe now just amend that membership to indicate that it could be open to either Donna or Tim to participate on the Green Meadow Future Committee.
Do we want to
Or just keep it generic.
Right.
You could say their designate, or their designated
Because the new-
representative.
Because the
Right.
new one.
Right, yeah, and that's, yeah, so right now, it was just them two, but it might be even better to say that a member, administrative representative just be present.
Because there'll be a new principal there next year
Right,
anyway, so then you want to
exactly.
vote again.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So, does that make sense? Okay, so we'll just allow that so they can vote in their recommendations, and, because Tim right now is not a voting, if he can go, but he's not able to vote on what they're recommending, so the quorum has been a little bit thrown off if Donna's not able to go.
So to entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to amend the membership role for administrator, not to specify Donna, but just to ensure that there's administrator member present, part of the school, the Green Meadow Future Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, 5-0 passes. Great, thank you. All right, so, okay, this one, interim super contract amendment. So this is another one that we need to vote on because it's in relation to Mary Jane's contract. We, recognizing where we are now, where we have Brian coming on for next year, and in conversations with Mask, and were you the one, Mauro, having those conversations? So you fill in whatever you need to here. They advise that it is perfectly reasonable and makes sense not to have a formal superintendent evaluation process. So that doesn't preclude us at all from continuing to monitor progress towards goals, and that's an important part of any of our process, but it doesn't preclude Mary Jane from having goals that she's reaching, that the leadership is working towards for the year. It just means we won't do the prescribed formal superintendent evaluation process for the year. Is there anything else you'd want to say about that, Mauro?
No, I think that's, you covered it all. There are a few reasons why we would have to do an evaluation, and we don't have any of those right now. So, so that was Mask's suggestion. So basically, we just took that out of Mary Jane's contract.
This was built in, and
right.
that's what we're having to revisit, because it was built-in
Right.
aspect of the contract.
Right.
Yep.
And so, this was in conversation with you, Mary Jane, so everyone's on the same page with that. So then we need to take a formal vote, and as far as removing that particular, as an amendment, that particular clause.
Is that in one of our files? Because I'm not seeing it, but as long as that was just the one piece that
Yeah.
we were just taking out.
So basically, we're removing
Right,
that
we're just removing
clause
it.
that pertains to the required
Which is what we did
of
at
our
that.
annual
Yeah, I just didn't
evaluation,
see it
the
actually.
formal annual evaluation.
Yep, that's literally it.
Got it.
So, any other questions, discussion, thoughts? I think we all agree, and we've discussed this already before, about continuing to monitor the progress towards goals. Mary Jane's been telling us, I have goals. I've been.
I'll make sure I share them with everybody. I think I just with you, but I'll make them with everybody.
Great, thank you. So it's not a question of that, it's just people may not realize, but there's a particular form and a particular process you follow, or if you're doing that, a rubric for the formal evaluation, and there was a pilot process we were going to consider doing this year. But the Mass suggested that with an interim, it's certainly reasonable not to spend everyone's time and energy in that way, because there's just, at this point, there's going to be different leadership coming in, and that we can continue on with next year with considering that formal evaluation process. And to be fair, we've also had like, with an interim person coming on, there's not as much to be able to consider for evaluation as someone's trying to get onboarded, you know, in Gaines' team, because the whole point of their first period of time is that they're doing kind of their assessment and figuring things out. So, in any case.
Well, it's hard to measure growth a lot from like a year-to-year kind of growth.
Yep, and we have to grapple with considering that for next year as part of a formal evaluation process as well, so.
So I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to amend the contract for Mary Jane Rickson to remove the clause that mandates an annual formal performance evaluation.
A second?
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0, passes. Thank you. All right, so we are going to move into the superintendent search nope.
Nope.
We're done with that. We finished that one.
That was the one thing we checked off our list.
Principal, I'm
Yes.
really sorry about that. We're at superintendent.
Wah,
principal.
wah.
Green Meadow principal search update. The words are right there. Go ahead.
Okay, so you each have a copy of the 3 candidates. They are Robert Rulo, Becky Jinda, and John Ambreski, and I gave you a quick bio on each of them, and I can post those up on the website, but I didn't want to put anything out until I officially gave you their names. I've been including Brian Haas in the conversation, so he already knows who these are, the bios and such. On Monday, February 24th, Robert Rulo will be visiting Green Meadow, and Mr. Gabron has already had contact with each of these people, so these are the dates that they chose. Tuesday, February 25th is Becky Jonda, and then Wednesday, February 26th is John Ambreski. Now, in addition to that, we are actually going to have a parent forum, which will be on the 26th of February. At that time, myself and Brian will be meeting with the candidates before they go out to the parent forum. And then we'll collect feedback from the parent forums, look at their notes, talk to each other, see what we come up with, and then move the finalists forward.
So it'll be a collective, the two of you moving the candidate
It will
forward.
be 2 of us.
Thank you.
So there's 2 things on the 26th. So there's John's
He's going to be here during the day and at night.
during the day and, okay.
He's going to be here from...
He's like a whole day.
From, yeah,
for him.
8:45 to 8 o'clock.
He's camping.
Or he's here till 6.
Okay.
We let him leave earlier because
Okay,
he's here all
got
day.
it. Okay,
That's
so
why he
he'll be
went
here
first.
during for the evening at 6 to 6:30, but he'll be here earlier. And is there a time when these sessions, when they come on their day, does it say?
What do you mean?
Morning,
The 24th, the 25th?
like, will they do
It'll be
9
7:45 to 7, I think we said, maybe it was, I think it, oh,
I just
I
want
think
to
it
add it
was,
to our calendar, just so.
yeah, it was, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, that's fine. Just email it if
8:30
we-
maybe, I'll email it to you.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
8:30 to 3:30. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but I'm not 100% sure. It might be 9, but I'll double check.
Okay.
Do you remember?
I think 7:45 to 2:30.
See, I thought it was 7:45 too.
I haven't seen the actual final schedule yet.
I have it on my desk,
All
but,
right, so we will, to be determined, and that will be the same for the 24th, 25th, and the 26th?
yeah, they're exactly the same. I don't think it's 7:45. It might be 8:45.
But it might be, it's still.
All
But
right.
I'll give you that
So we
information.
will wait for that. Got it.
Before you leave,
Got
I
it.
can grab it
Okay.
off my desk.
And are we allowed to go
I was
those
just going
days?
to ask, do you want us to be there for part
Yeah,
of
what
the
point do
time?
we
You'd
get
rather
to,
us
like,
stay
show up
away?
for?
That's a good question. I don't think it'd be a bad thing if you're interested in, I mean, we don't want to quiz them.
Right, no, but just to,
Um,
maybe to take mornings or afternoons or something, just to,
Just want to
Well,
introduce
it's a whole
yourself.
day
I don't
thing.
think that's
We might be able to
unusual.
just kind of come and go, like, depending on where our schedules
Exactly.
are.
yeah, it would be kind
Exactly.
of
In
nice.
terms of the site visits for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have very specific schedules of when
Yeah.
they're meeting the teachers and staff, so it's not sort of an open.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Piece, but certainly we can check.
But
So
in
there
the
might
evening,
not be an
definitely.
opportunity.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
evening
certainly the
definitely.
evening.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
right, yeah.
The evening might be
Yeah.
the best,
Yeah.
is what
Okay.
you're saying, okay. got it.
The forum, I would.
I didn't know if it would be nice for one of us to be there to, I'll kind of welcome them, but you guys call.
Yeah, no, I think that we'll let the committee.
Dr. Brown, he's been.
Sounds like a
Taking the
plan.
lead.
He
Yeah.
has a system.
He has a night, he's got the list, all 3 days, they're ready to go.
He'll reach out if he needs us.
Yep, yep. But we definitely would like you that night. So they're going to do a little quick presentation about themselves, talk about themselves a little bit, and then the community can ask them questions and they can answer it. About 40, I'm trying to do about 35 minutes, so we give them, you know.
I love that, it's really great, I'm
Yeah,
excited about
and then we'll
this.
have them give some feedback, and then we'll bring that to Brian and myself.
So since we're going into school vacation and then it's going to happen the following week, how are we marketing it? How are we getting this info out to all of Green
I'm
Meadow?
working on the flyer right now.
As we speak.
I tried working on it, but I need a Mac to do it, and it's just not working on my,
Okay.
look, Colleen's laughing at
But
me.
there's going to be like a couple of reminders.
Yeah,
and
I'll
stuff, too,
I'll put it on the
just,
website,
or on
I'll
the
also I'll do
Facebook
probably a
page,
call
put
to
it-
the Green
Oh,
Meadow
yeah, because
parents.
that Monday, because next week is,
Right.
and that Monday is the
Next
first
week is vacation, and then
one.
the following week,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
So I'll put on the website, I'm actually gonna do a call out to the Green Meadow parents.
excellent.
And then I'll do a couple, make some tweeting out during
So
the
next
year.
week's
The parent involvement won't happen until Wednesday.
That's not till Wednesday.
So
Right, but
it's-
the staff, right, these are the staff.
Right.
Well, the staff already knows.
Yeah, staff knows, but.
The staff knew already, they're all set with that.
The parent one's on the 26th.
Yeah, Charles met with all of them and asked them, you know, look at it, let me know if you have any questions or anything to change, so it's good to go.
I mean,
Thank you.
they look like great candidates, all of them.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed, yeah, very exciting.
How many, can we say, or do we know how many applicants? Was it,
You're gonna ask me, I want it
Weren't they like
43 maybe?
Yeah.
I think it was 43, they narrowed it, I said it last time, they narrowed it down from 43 to 25, and then they went down to 7. So I think that's how it worked.
great?
No, it was great.
Very good.
Really
Yep.
good. Very exciting.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank everybody for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a nice job.
All right. So the next thing was we thought it could be just useful for us to consider process in relation to Brian Haas as he's transitioning and considering having someone from the school committee that's the liaison for him while he's starting to find different ways of he's engaging and wanting to be very respectful of his time, but also have a way that if as we're all very excited, that we have a way to be able to send communication to him. So I thought we could consider a school committee liaison. It's kind of wasn't just me, though. It's kind of come up as an idea. So I thought we could talk that through, and if we wanted to, we could vote on liaison tonight until he's on board on July 1st, and then he won't need a liaison anymore.
He will be here.
He'll be here.
I make a motion that, that we have Lydia be the liaison since she's been doing such a great job.
I second.
That's easy. Any discussion?
How do you feel about that?
That's,
She doesn't have a chance to.
that's fine. It's totally fine.
Can't the nomination. Yeah, I guess my only discussion point would be that Mara and I just had discussion about like that she may have time to be able to help if there's like introductions to make
talked.
during
Oh,
the
yeah,
day.
definitely.
Then
All
she
of
might
us
be
are
able to
here.
assist.
Yes.
And any of us can assist, but so we're not just
Yeah.
sitting
If you
here.
be the point person.
I reached out to her after you told me that, so we're gonna.
And it might be, I wonder if it's helpful maybe to have like a check-in or something, like a certain periodic like standing,
I don't know.
you know, I don't know what
You
your.
can consider that, liaison.
Yeah.
Oh, I talk with him almost weekly.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
not,
like,
sorry, not
well-
almost weekly. I do talk with him weekly.
But it might help, like, if we know, like, you're gonna be talking on Thursday, that if we have anything that we wanna, like, you know, like, you talk with, you know, you have your standing meeting with
Yep.
Mary Jane on Friday, so I don't know if that would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
We, might be helpful for him also to plan, like, hey, I was standing,
Yeah.
He'll be here on Tuesday. I've already had some conversations with him, so he's going to come in Tuesday. He'll be just about here all day, visiting, meeting people. I'm going to go over this process with him with the principals.
Not this coming Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday.
nobody will be here Tuesday.
Nobody's gonna be here.
Central office staff.
Central
We're here. We're here.
I felt like staff, I was like, oh, like the teachers and something.
Yeah, we're going to walk the schools, visit the buildings.
Does he have vacation that week too?
No, well, he works, just like we do.
Yeah, the central office works.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, he's coming on Tuesday, and we're going
Got
to
it.
do some tours and head him over to Green Meadow at 9, so.
Thank you.
So yes, whatever help you need, we are all here for you.
Yeah.
You should, yeah,
Thank you.
having
Are you
one
coming in
point
for that
person
too?
is
Thank you.
perfect.
I'll be here. I'm here on the weekend. I
You've
know.
done such a great job at it anyway.
All right, so did we actually vote on her?
On,
No, so,
we
all in
were-
favor?
I think we were still in the
Okay.
discussion phase.
All right, good. Thank you, Lydia, and,
Yep,
yeah.
sure.
All right, so school choice enrollment decision for 2021 school year.
Check that off for you.
Okay, I gave everybody a list of, thank you Colleen
Yeah,
for getting
thank
this
you.
done.
Yeah.
This is next year's numbers, so the students that are currently in grade 2 will be in grade 3 next year. I just want to make sure you got that. These are numbers for next year. So you can see that we are not, kindergarten and grade 3, we only had one spot in grade 3, so I didn't even put that out there. But it looks like we can fill pretty much across the board. The least amount of spots is in the 5th grade. So we can, and it looks to the numbers for AMSA actually look like they went down a little bit this year. So that was a nice change. And as far as, you can look at the numbers for Assabet, that looks like it also went down a little bit as well. So retaining a little bit more, so that's a good thing.
So 30, what is typically, because it says 30 students who applied, how many, is that down from
That's typical.
No, that's how many seats are available.
30 seats at Assabet?
We have no. We have 77, there's 87 students total. But if 10 go to Assabet, gives us
No,
77 students.
I think you're looking at AMSA,
Really,
right?
an AMSA.
Yeah.
This one is.
Oh, yeah, Assabet is
Assabet.
9.
So 30 students have applied to Assabet.
But we put 15 to 20, so,
Not everyone who applies
will
really has
get
the
in.
real intention of going. They
Got
apply to
it,
see if they can get in.
just to
Right.
get a space. Or-
so I kind of made
Other
it 15.
options.
I kind of made it at a 15. I mean, that's just a guess. To be honest with you, you don't get a lot of school choice at the high school, especially if we're going to get, if you look at that, I put 12 spaces in for the Beijing school. So adding that still brings each class up to about 110, and that's what we're looking to do.
Do we see any movement in the 7th grade? I know, like, you have another charter school, Parker?
Parker?
Yeah.
No.
You don't, I don't, okay.
No.
I think we have 1 or 2 kids there right now. I do have the list of who goes
Okay.
where, how many numbers go where.
Okay.
Colleen, can you put the mic near you?
Like, they're anti-mic right now.
Thank you.
Parker starts at 7?
Yeah.
Okay, but AMSA starts at 6. Got it.
So it looks like it's starting to trend up a little bit. But again, these are still preliminary numbers. We won't really know until, what, April? Maybe
Yeah.
June?
AMSA, or Assabet is in a few weeks. They
Yeah.
just completed interviews, and it'll probably be another month
Yeah.
before we know who's actually accepted to Assabet.
When do we find out about the Beijing school still? I know that's still up in the air.
Yeah, we're connecting with them around course registration, and honestly, they can tell us that their kids are coming, but until we have the visas, I mean, we could potentially be in the middle of August before we know.
Yeah.
I mean, visa process is,
Do we have like, yeah, but I just am thinking of logistics, how potentially, worst case scenario, how would that even work out if they said something in August, like,
so we would have the course requests and the registrations, we would be building the courses as if, in 2 ways. One is if the students were here and as if they were not. So for example, if we had, if they're telling us that they have 50 students who are all gonna need pre-calculus to advanced placement calculus BC, and so we feel BC is the second calculus, advanced placement calculus, we're probably not gonna create the advanced placement calculus BC course because we wouldn't be able to sustain that with our numbers. We would need to figure out another option for any of our students who wanted to run that. What we would also make sure that we're doing is that we have enough seats within spaces so that they can take the English classes or what have you. But essentially what that would mean is.
Teachers or resources to.
No, we are
No,
not adding
no.
teachers or resources.
Okay.
It is all within our current, that was why it was viable, was because it's within
Got
our
it.
current structure.
Okay, because that was the only other thing I was
Yeah,
thinking.
no. Yeah.
Okay.
So that,
I just wanted
and
to
they're
ask,
also going to be presenting to us, hopefully, Jennifer's, we talked to them earlier in the year to say they could present to the school committee. We had mid-March, but I'm not sure if that's going to be ready to go by then.
I hope so. That is my hope. They,
Yeah.
we're coming, we have to get in touch with them. I know they're working with the high school around being involved in International Week, and a couple other
Yep.
things. So they are still working with us. And so I'm hopeful that we'll still have that presentation in March.
and Colleen, for the Assabet, so they let us know, the students, that once they've solidified the number, they let us know?
Yes,
the
follow
students
guidance will
coming?
find out who's accepted, because then they're going to ask for further information from the school
see.
The transcripts.
once they
And
get
do they do the
accepted.
same thing for AMSA?
Yes, the same thing for AMSA. AMSA, we have to reach out to them more than Assabet
Yeah.
and say, hey, who's
That wasn't
going
the
to your school?
plan. when
So
this
is
whole
it
thing
not
was
like this, because I
created.
know school choice, the receiving district has to notify, right? Like it's for school choice, but it doesn't sound like it's the same for charter.
We have a school attending report that's due the end of this month that I'm working on, that any student living in Maynard going to another school district, I have a legal form I send out. It states the section of the law, and they have to report who is enrolled in their school, who lives in Maynard. And then I put in the numbers and the grades into the report.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
I have a question about the amount of kindergarten registrations that came in. Is that normal? That's low?
Our population is low. I think the census was 85 students or something.
75.
75.
The census was 75 kindergarten-age students. So we just aren't having that. It's not as though there are folks within the community who are then not enrolling their students in Maynard kindergarten. We don't have that many students who are of that
Okay,
age.
I see.
But yes, it is lower than what we've seen. We were anticipating a number between 100 and 110, which was the average over the last 5 years. If we're between 75 and 85, that's tiny. We have not seen that in a kindergarten class in maybe a decade, more than.
Yeah, I think so, because I went back and looked before the presentation on Saturday. I could not believe how much it has dropped.
Yeah.
We did get the census numbers, names late, and based on who's already reached out to, there were additional 25 letters that went out. Out of that 25, Kathy thought that some of the names seemed familiar, that they had moved. So we likely will not have 25 additional, but there's a potential.
So maybe it might go up, maybe 10, if
Right, so we
anything.
have the 85 definitely registered, so the 100 is just an estimate out of those 25 letters that went out.
Kindergarten's not required either.
Right, and I mean, family sizes are not,
They're declining, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Okay,
kids are
so
tough.
Can we then talk about the Spanish immersion and how that, you're showing 21 here? So you're not going to fill the full 25?
So if only 21 register,
That's all that
we wouldn't do the lottery.
That's all that registers, okay. I see.
Yeah, so that only 21 registered, and so.
Oh,
if
we'd certainly
that's-
open it up.
I think,
but
and I think it was mentioned that they had less
they did have less
um,
people interested in it.
desire. They've seen a trend.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you look comparatively at the class size, the percentage of the class size of people who register.
Yeah,
I don't know that it's about the same, we haven't done the math, but I think it would be something to sort of take note of. And I also think it's worth looking at in terms of our EL student population, how we potentially use that resource as a way to expand some
dual-
services for students.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, some districts do that, like Waltham, they have, maybe Framingham, I don't know, but I know that
Yep.
their immersion program is a dual model.
Yeah, that would be a great way to use the resources.
Unfortunately, we have more Portuguese-speaking students.
Exactly.
Than we do Spanish-speaking students, but, so we can start a Portuguese immersion. But anyhow.
Or how about a Chinese immersion?
So we've actually spoken with the Beijing Royal School about having that opportunity once they get sort of established and set up. The challenge, and you may know that Dr. Girardi had very much promoted having a Mandarin immersion program. The challenge.
I did not know that.
Oh, absolutely. I said no a lot of times. Because of staffing. It just,
Right,
we
yeah,
have a
okay.
hard time getting staffing for the Spanish
Spanish.
immersion program.
It's a lot of
So
sports.
if we have a relationship with an organization like the Beijing Royal School, that becomes more doable. We have also talked about potentially having, because I guess their program is going to be elementary through high school. We have talked about having some of their students come and be taught in our school. I didn't quite understand the whole component of it, but essentially they would be taught in our building and would attend specials and things of that nature, but they would also have a Mandarin teacher that would be teaching them in Mandarin as well. So doing both of those pieces. So I think we have some really interesting opportunities with the Beijing Royal School, some revenue opportunities there, and I think what you're seeing with the enrollment numbers is it's no longer sufficient for us just to plan for educating the students within Maynard. We need to become more of an education company, if you will, actually getting clients that want to come to us for the programs we have.
Yep.
I have another question. Given
I
what's
just want to
going,
mention that we've got about 2 more minutes for this part of the
I'll make
conversation.
it wicked quick.
Is it wicked?
It's wicked quick. Is the coronavirus going to affect their abilities to get visas? I'm just,
It's interesting, we talked about that, or
Should I
that
not say that
some
out
folks
loud?
would
Oh, I
have
just said
concerns.
it's Mary Jane,
I don't know that I don't know that the coronavirus is going to impact that.
Okay.
I think it will be more, the relationships between our executive
Okay.
branches
All right.
and so on.
Yeah, I think that's
The,
more the-
the visas that they need to get are not super easy. And
getting, like-
they had asked us for support, and unfortunately, we have no, we can connect them
For
with
the
people. we
students,
can
they're a
share.
little easier, but the staff is a
Correct.
difficult one.
Right.
The student
And
visas are a
one thing
bit
that we
easier.
were absolutely mandatory on,
Yep. And the staff ones
was
we
that they need to bring a staff member over because we are not finding 50 close
Absolutely.
families.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
No, that's not something we're gonna do.
And that's where we're a little concerned. I mean, if we can't house, 50 students.
No.
So, if they can't get in the adult visa, then that really is gonna be,
I mean, the good thing is that they have the Beijing Royal School that's in Chester, New Hampshire. I believe they may have one in somewhere else in the country
I
too,
thought you
so.
had said they have staff that could possibly.
yeah.
So I believe if they want it to happen, they will make it happen.
They build hospitals in 2 weeks. I'm sure that they can, China,
Yeah.
make it work, and they'll figure it out.
Very good. So what do we need to vote upon in relation to this?
Approve
You
this?
accept these numbers and then we'll advertise, so I guess you can vote in the entirety.
Okay, so,
These are school choice seats.
entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the 2020 to 2021 projected enrollment for school choice seats that are will be available.
I second.
Any discussion further?
We're just voting on the seats, not the
Just the
sections
school
or
committee
anything.
seats
Got it.
available.
Yep.
To be able to, yeah, okay.
I
Very good.
believe by grade though, you have to.
Oh, really?
have to do
Oh,
by
we
grade?
can't just say as per the.
Oh, as for
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, as per the
But you're not voting
recommendation.
on the total number of.
Just those.
right.
This, and the SE seats available for each grade,
The
that
SE
Colleen
seats
has,
available per grade.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
that Colleen has so wonderfully noted.
Yeah.
All right, very good. All in favor? All right, that's zero
Thanks.
passes. Thank
Thanks
you,
for
everybody.
putting this
Good
together,
discussion.
Colleen.
Appreciate it. All right, now we are moving into citizens' comments. Anyone that wants to say anything?
I'll just throw out something. I just wanted to comment to what you said about looking at pulling more people in. Totally disagree. I think it's more important to be looking at that national picture. As you're saying, the ASABIT numbers have slightly gone down, and the campus numbers have slightly gone down. I think that doesn't show the whole picture. I think it's really important to remember that the people who have left running, not just walking or looking for other options. So I think you have to remember to look at the whole picture of this. That the people who have left in the past, maybe in greater numbers, just felt like it was a better fit. People are tending to leave now because they're wearing a cap. And I think it's also the same thing with this, smaller group of people for kindergarten. Coming out the last year, there were for sale signs all over that. Families that I knew had been looking at here because we're still, a fairly affordable place, who chose those things. So I don't think we can just look at the numbers and look at this as a business, so I disagree with you on that one. My kids are two that are leaving, so, that's why I kept quiet there. So
But it goes to speak to our outreach,
Right.
our student retention efforts that we need to do.
Exactly. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and the surveys, the exit surveys.
Right. Do you want to share where your kids are going, or not
So
necessarily?
Gary will be going to CASBIT as soon as we find out, but I'd be shocked if.
Yeah, good.
And Stephen, is waitlisted at Parker, and we're hoping to get him in there, but he won't stay. As soon as we can,
Yeah.
we have different options. If we make it through junior high, our choice would be like Cambridge or West End or something, but not.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So we're going to move on to members' comments. This includes any subcommittee report out.
We did some policies.
We did.
We're gonna do some more.
All right, good. Good work.
What,
I can't hear you, Mike, what?
Students, you say, you're going to pass.
We don't have that number yet.
Can you tell me?
It says 22 has been the average. We have 30 students that applied, so guidance expects approximately 15 to 20 will go.
In addition to what?
I don't know, I don't know. What did he say?
I'm not
They
sure.
gave a number a couple of months ago, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a projected. Anybody, I don't know if
All right.
anybody else?
I can go, but I can wait.
Oh,
Lydia, is that did you have anything else you wanted to say? Is that good?
Besides the policies?
The budget subcommittee, the tri-board budget subcommittee is meeting on Wednesday at 7 PM at Town Hall.
Nice. All right. Natasha?
I just wanted to thank everyone for the participation in our joint budget review and all the behind-the-scenes work that I know Colleen and Eliza and Lydia for speaking, and Jennifer, I know your collaboration with Justin. I just
And
thought it was a
Michelle.
really, yes, and I did say Michelle also, because she might be the last time she's advocating for on Maynard's behalf. So it was really great to have her voice there, and I just, that was really great conversations. And just the Board of Selectmen, FinCom, the opportunity, so just,
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
The spreadsheet that you did in terms
Oh,
of
yeah, that was
financing and
incredible.
whatnot, that really turned the conversation, I feel. Like, it was a
great.
huge
that
help.
visual was very, very needed.
Yeah, I think for the first time, people sort of understood, like, okay, this is how this might work.
I felt like Bob McCarthy was really responsive to it, and he's all about sheets and stuff like that, so it was good.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. I was excited to see the update from Adam about the Chromebook security implementation.
Yes.
Super excited. I love that the communication that he went out to parents. I just feel like it's in a great direction.
Yep.
And look forward to seeing parents that can engage on that. Becky had mentioned to me about board docs, and I know this is kind of a conversation that came up at one point, but something she mentioned, which I didn't know, was that it has functionality about minutes, audio, where it can do the minutes very easy, and the town pays for a license. So I don't know if that's something Adam might be able to look into, what might be helpful.
He's on the Board of Selectmen in Framingham, so he may.
Right, he's accounts, I think that leveraging his expertise in that arena as well, he would know might be appropriate, and, you know, all the school considerations. Anything that can help Colleen in her typing of minutes, I think would be great.
I think it has a list of motions in that thing. Because I've talked to her about board docs in the past, and I don't think it actually translates or types out your
I don't know,
minutes.
I've never seen
Yeah.
it, but she was promoting it. I know Ken mentioned he was getting trained on it recently at the joint review, so I just thought, I was like, you know, if it
It'd be very easy to pick up.
okay.
I have had discussions with her.
Yeah, and just a couple meetings, the Green Meadow Future Committee meeting, the HVAC audit was discussed with them, so they were aware. The school council meeting on the 11th, that was great. It was also good to hear Principal McGillicuddy talk about a crisis plan that he's in the draft, which was something that'll be going to the safety committee. But from what he explained, it was really nice that once this can be used in a way for all schools, but also allow funding opportunities potentially for the district, because of not having a plan, it has restricted us, so that was really great, great to hear. CPAC had their recent, their IEP basic rights on the 11th as well, which is an annual process, and I know that an email from Carol had gone out to out-of-district parents, but there seemed to be a little bit of, it didn't make it to everybody, I don't think, so.
Again?
Yeah, so,
Oh, God.
I don't know the mechanism of how that list was created,
Okay.
but there was a large consensus of out-of-district parents that did not receive it.
Okay.
So, but we did promote it on CPACs through their medium, so I don't know if, just the email content that Carol had sent.
Okay.
Because she
Can't get that
indicated.
right, can we?
We'll figure it out.
I have a slight update to that, so.
Oh,
Okay.
good, that'd be great. Okay, so I'll wait for you then. And I just saw the MSBA contest for the first grade class, the My Ideal School. I just thought it was really cool. I don't know if we can, do that or not, but just considering where we are, and they can, what they can talk about the school. I just thought it would really be kind of flow very nice into our current,
I sent that on to the Green Meadow principals.
okay, ongoing processes,
Brownie
so.
points?
Huh?
Are we looking for brownie points, is that?
I'm looking for community engagement and buy-in on this, we need it.
I did like, I think I commented, I like the part of them actually saying what they like,
Right.
versus just a picture.
Who wants to
of
say
the
no to
school.
first graders too, right? Yeah, they're just so cute. So anyway, so I just thought that was really just a great timing thing, and that we have our upcoming strategic planning and curriculum meeting on the 24th, and then also I'm just a little wondering about this MOA update.
I got an email today on that.
I would love to hear about that because it's been 2 months.
I got an email, it's funny, just today, this morning.
Tell me.
I got from Sarah,
Tell
who
me.
said, do you think that we should have a meeting with the town attorney and get together? So I said, yes, so she's going to work on that.
Okay, okay.
That was my email. She said, I
Okay.
think we better suit it, and she pretty much said that, what we want, we should just advocate for, and
It's been like 2 months since we've heard anything, so I'm a
I
little.
got it this morning.
Okay.
So I did email her back and said I'd love to do that, so she's going to arrange that.
Was she,
because I
like-
don't even know who the town attorney is, so.
I don't even know if it's Lisa or who's.
I know Sarah's ours.
Yeah,
She's the one
Sarah's.
that contacted me.
It was Lisa, I don't know if it's.
But Sarah contacted me and said, she's had some conversations now, they want all us to meet together, so.
Okay. Well,
So
that
Sarah
will
is
be-
on it, and hopefully next week she
Sarah
can put
is
something
on it.
together.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
I was glad
So-
to see that this morning. I said, oh, it was nice.
Well, I'm like, okay, like we want to like hire this person, like and start interviewing. And I don't know, like when we get the funding, is it going to be like a July 1st start anyway, or I don't know that part
We'd like to
as
start
well.
sooner
Like
than
as a
later.
funding,
Yeah,
for that. So, all right, great. Thanks for the update. That's it.
Oh, you're done.
I'm done.
All right. Let's see. There is a Valentine's Day dance tomorrow night for 6th to 8th graders at the high school.
You going?
No, but my son is.
chaperoning.
I don't know if you're a chaperone.
No, I'm not. No, that would be weird.
I love how proud of yourself you are that you're making me go.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. We had a CPAC communication meeting on Monday with Adam to talk about, what can be done for the CPAC portion of the website. And we did talk about the out-of-district emails, and he said that they are still working on that.
Yeah,
but
Jessica said that
he-
she got one, but other people we know did not get.
Okay.
one. So she.
All right.
It'd be helpful if we knew who the people were. That would really help us out.
I think there's a confidentiality piece, but I would
Then
say
it's hard
that,
to know.
yeah.
Then it's hard to.
Then it's hard for us
Well,
to
but
know.
I think that Carol would
You have to guess.
I think Carol
If we
owns
know
that
who the
piece.
people are who aren't receiving it, we can
yeah.
go in and find out what happened to the email.
Exactly.
Whether it was
Just
sent
have
through
to know who they
Tyler,
are.
sent
Okay.
through
They'd
Shel-
like
I mean, it's hard.
I think some have self-identified, because we
Yeah.
did post it on CPAC.
Why is that
CPAC posted it on their page, like to email. So some people have self-identified, but again, I don't,
Why would that be a confidentiality?
who's out of district. I know in the past it's been reluctant to talk about like families who are out of
But if they want to
district.
be participating, it can't be
I
confidential.
mean, publicly, like in,
No, but
no,
if we could have a list
Also-
of people.
It'll be helpful.
Sent to.
Right.
Sent to
Also,
the
well,
office.
I think what else happened was that they sent out an email to the families to say, if you're interested.
Correct.
I see.
Please,
and that's the email people didn't
Okay,
receive,
all right.
like to know that there was an
Because they did not-
opt-in.
Because they did not, I know Carol said she did not get
She
a
only got,
lot
like,
of.
2 people.
Yeah, she did not get a whole lot of responses.
Yeah.
So that was why Jess said that she was gonna send that email out to
Yeah.
everybody there, to CPAC, so that people know
That would be helpful.
That did go out.
That would at least be helpful.
Right, yeah.
Because, I mean, we can't, if we don't have their emails address and we don't know who they are, not
Right.
really sure how we're going to,
Okay, so I didn't get it, just so you know. So you can look into mine if you want.
Okay.
As a test case.
well, I don't think, we probably don't consider you out of district, but, because you're
I
here.
am, I'm on a district placement.
I know you are.
Yeah.
But I will make sure your name is on the
Okay,
list.
yep, yep,
That I can do.
yes.
Okay, and then the school committee is doing information sessions for the greater community, hoping that some people will be interested in stepping up to fill some empty seats that might be happening. We had one this week. We're having one Wednesday. Mary and I will be there Wednesday, be at Boston Bean from 2 to 3:30 on Wednesday. And then Bethlyn and I will be here in the conference room, although we might want to reschedule that, because
Is it next week?
It's during the same time as the Green Meadow
What, yeah.
thing,
Might
so
have to
we'll have to
schedule.
maybe
But that's only for
discuss.
Green Meadow people. I mean, if the other
Yeah.
people may not
Yeah,
want to
right.
go.
I know, right.
So-
And then,
So-
and you also put in the note that you sent out that if they can't make those, to
Right.
reach out to you.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think you're okay.
Please contact me. And
time's-
the
time's
next
clicking.
week, so the first week of March, we'll do another one to, for anybody else that's interested and can't make these. So, that's that. And then Tuesday night, there was a there was a Maynard Rec meeting with the Board of Selectmen about the Fowler Field.
Yeah.
And basically, what came out of that was that they are looking to fund maintenance over the next few years, since they spent close to $400,000 on, improving them. That they're looking for about $18,123 just at this point, just for the next year maintenance. But they also, to help with that, and then also we would need to, they also need a new mower.
They want that from the school?
No, just the town and school
It was
and
with the Board of
anybody else.
Selectmen,
It's,
right?
basically they're asking
Help
the
wanted.
community to help figure out how we just spent all this money.
Maintain our investment.
To maintain our investment. And so
Who mows the lawn? Is it the town?
the town mows the lawn, but the problem is that the mower that they have is not the right kind of mower.
Soccer field
Right,
friendly.
yeah, but also.
We played soccer, we use a regular mower.
It's smaller. The one that they asked for on the capital plan is a larger mower, so it takes less time, and it actually, I guess, mulches the grass. So,
It could be
Mike,
used
what do you say to that?
It could be used different places too, like Pro Field.
can't think
and
yeah,
stuff
so,
like that.
so
Right.
they are basically talking about all the
Right,
fields.
alumni fields,
Yes,
so that's
right.
the way it should be presented.
Yeah, it's not just the
So-
soccer field.
Right, so.
Here comes Mike.
Mike might be.
Yes,
the one.
so Mike was, actually, I contacted Michelle to ask her where the field fees go that we bring in, okay? And then I mentioned that, I sent that to Mike, and Mike pulled some reports, which I will be putting into a folder, because I think Bethlyn, the head of the Maynard Rec, said that he's planning on coming March 5th at our meeting.
Steve Jones?
I think so.
Is he?
Anyway, I put it.
I didn't put any money in the budget for that.
I know.
I put,
Well, good.
just to talk, to have.
Just
more
to listen,
more information to talk about this stuff. So I did put it on our rolling agenda.
Oh, you did, okay. 'cause I
Oh,
was-
so you
I
put it
didn't-
on there?
Did, I put it on the rolling agenda, that he made it sound like that was the date that he had talked to you about, so.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay, so anyway, I put it on the rolling agenda. I will put
You were
the
booking people in your sleep.
information that Mike gave to me
Yeah, I have hard copies. That'll
into
give-
that,
you can have
our
it.
meeting folder, so that we can talk some more.
I mean, there's
Mike,
no
do you have-
commitment. I mean, really, it was more informational than
Right.
anything
Yeah.
else.
Right.
And, it's, long term and the whole thing, and, the comment, well, yeah, we let it go this far, we wouldn't have, that type of thing. But the thing that came up was the surprise was the mower. And the
Yes.
one thing that came up is that no one brought up is that we could lease it. You know, so I'm looking into that, so that could solve some of that. But most of it is just some stuff that I gotta, you know, look at in terms of, you know, some of the things they said also weren't exactly whatever. But I think,
the fans in here than me.
Well, it's interesting that.
yeah, there was no commitment on anybody's part. I think it's more or less
No, it was
everybody, they wanted to get everybody
Right,
together.
and basically that was what they were trying to
Right.
get at, is that they wanted the discussion to happen
Yep.
so that maybe not next year we'd be doing
Right.
all this stuff, but that,
Yeah.
you know, over the next few years that we
Right.
are working towards that.
And they're doing their due diligence because that's part of when you get that community preservation funding. That was also, I mean, it's smart to put the conversation out there
Right.
with numbers
Yeah,
to be
sure.
had.
And
Yeah.
the other thing that they want us to consider is doing a policy for advertising on the, which we
Yeah.
talked about last year in policy.
Is that allowed?
It's different.
Says we can't? Oh,
Yes,
wow.
it says we
See, I
can't.
don't think you
That was all the way
can.
back to Dr. Masterson, I remember
Yeah,
us having.
so,
We can, everybody else does it. Yeah.
so one of the things
Who
that,
advertises? Those are
I think
just-
that's if they sponsor you or
that's,
something, I don't
it's
Those are-
nonprofit.
Yeah, those are nonprofit.
Right.
And they're.
And they're Maynard-based.
events-based, yeah,
Right.
Maynard-based. We're talking about like if we wanted to ask Market Basket to
Right.
say,
Right, to put up a banner for
Yeah.
$300 a year or something. to-
Right.
Oh, like a
Right.
sponsor, like, or
Yes,
naming rights.
correct.
Can someone name our field and we can get like a beneficial?
Yeah.
Well, Middlesex Savings, we got the big.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe we could talk to,
Yes.
the baseball
Yeah,
youth,
yeah. Aspect.
for the,
No,
for
no.
the, I don't know the name of that, the little baseball field over by alumni.
DJ's,
Yeah.
DJ's Field.
That we talk to them, because that's what they do. They're fully sustained, they use the advertising from that to replenish their fields. And so, you know, if we talk to them to figure out, you know, what they do and how they decide who advertises.
That would be the policy, yeah.
Right. So,
There's no commitment really on anybody's part that you have to make a vote. It's just a matter of information. I think more or less, I got the impression that it's more like a 2-year thing before we even get to that point as to what we
Yeah.
want to do. Because you mentioned, because there's a fence that has to be built and there's money left in there, like there's a 75,000. So
Right.
there's some things that could be done before, you know, they would even have to commit to anything. But, so I guess they'll meet with Justin on the mower. But,
right.
Thank you.
all right.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
thanks, Mike.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is something that's bothered me since I was like 5 years old, and I probably should have gotten seen therapy
5 years
about
old,
it.
and you've held on to this.
What is a religious holiday? I've always been confused by that, having grown up in New York.
Catholic,
Christmas.
Jewish, anything that's related
Okay.
to a church.
Yeah,
Okay.
Passover,
Passover and things
Yeah,
like that?
Passover, Yep,
Yom Kippur,
yeah,
Ramadan,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
Kwanzaa.
No, because I asked it, because like when I grew up in New York, a lot of the teachers were Jewish, so they gave everybody off on the Jewish holidays, and then the Catholics wanted it off on
Right.
their days, so it got confusing here after a while.
Right.
But, you know, so I
A
just
lot
was
of
curious.
holidays that-
I know, I mean, you know.
Yep, yep. Thank you.
That was an easy one.
I know. And you've held on to that
Thanks.
since 5?
Really?
Yeah.
Well done.
All right.
Thank you.
So a couple of things. We keep talking about, or I keep talking about, maybe I need to push this more, but Kate Hogan, with the work that she did to get the Green Meadow Elementary School 60,000, it would be really nice. I know that we were talking that maybe the money hasn't totally been spent, but just to have like some kind of acknowledgement to her for down at Green Meadow. I don't know how, do you want to, can we work on it or something? I'm just afraid.
So, I was sort of more anticipating when the library was open.
Okay,
Like when
all
we
right.
had the books, I know, again, we spent about $10,000, Donna indicated at the last meeting that I had with her, probably a month and a half ago, that she was continuing, and getting more lists up to our representatives, to order more of those and order the shelving, I can check in with her
Okay,
on that. But that was my thought, is to do it at that point. We certainly can do it before then as well.
I just don't want the full year to come and go without it, so if we could like maybe set a date for middle of May or something like that,
Yep.
just as something to strive for.
Yep.
That would be great, because
Maybe
she
like
works
have a
so
ceremony,
hard.
so like ribbon cutting,
Right,
like the
exactly.
door or
So
something.
Yeah.
Kate Hogan, our state rep, worked really hard to get us $60,000.
Okay. That's Level
When
Library.
Green Meadow was going,
Yeah.
a lot of the books, I understand, had to be thrown away. Is that what
Yeah.
happened? Yeah, so, so she worked really hard to get us that money, so
Okay.
to acknowledge that would be great, to have like a little ribbon cutting or whatever. Then, let's see, the preschool, I know I keep harping on the preschool program, but what are we doing to advertise to try and get more?
Yep, so I just
people.
received some documents from Green Meadow today with the information. I have contacted the town hall, Megan Zamuto specifically, to determine who the tenants are at Mill and Main, so that I can connect with them, so we can reach out to those folks specifically as they're coming in. I have contacted a variety of parent organizations that do have advertising. Some are defunct and aren't, well, they're not responding. Others have costs for advertising, for sponsoring. So being where we are in the budget freeze, looking at other options, and making sure that we have electronic communications that we can get out in terms of that. I have not received the write-up that I had asked for, so I will be taking the information that I received and trying to put it in for the Acton Unlimited.
And I'm happy to do that. I mean, I'm always putting things in anyway, so if
Yeah.
you get me the language,
Yeah.
and they can do, the one that we usually do is Acton, Boxborough, Maynard, but we can do I mean, we can,
Yeah.
they have a bunch of different editions that
Is
they'll
there-
let you do.
Is there anything like with the realtor over at 120, at the 129 Parker, that maybe like like, you know how they have like
Like
different,
a-
about the models of that we could,
They're pretty insulated over there. They
you
don't,
can maybe give them a letter to hand to,
maybe, yeah.
potential-
I'm wondering, are there other, I know that we had a preschool, didn't we have like a night or something for the various preschools?
Yeah,
Aren't there
so-
like,
So we're not going to be doing that, where they have a variety of
Yeah,
preschools come in.
yeah.
We talked about that, but what we do want to do, they had the preschool information night, and what we're thinking of doing is one or multiple open houses.
Right.
So that we can actually have people come in and walk through and do tours of the preschool while it's open. So Jane Basta, who is our teacher leader, is absolutely sort of ready and committed to doing that, and we think that would be a nice draw. We want to get sort of some messaging out first, and then planning that for the next, basically around March, as folks are making their decisions. So we're continuing to push that. We do have a threshold at which we will open up a second classroom. We have not hit that yet, but I do believe that even if we don't open up that second classroom, we'll be able to more fully enroll the preschool, to allow for some additional revenue coming in. And I can share those numbers with you.
okay,
So,
excellent. Just
we're working on it.
yell for what you need
Yep.
for help, because, and then I think we were going to do a follow-up for the dyslexia screening update. Weren't we gonna do something?
so
for-
I think that, there's a second, and I don't know where in our general event calendar, but it might be part of Carol's second
I'll
presentation.
take a look at it. I
Okay,
just
yeah,
don't
because
close my-
I sort of had that as our early spring type of thing, so.
Yeah, like
just wanna
how
hear
we're
how that's
monitoring.
working and that kind of thing, the success
Yeah.
hopefully out of that. Then another piece was the Student Opportunity Act. One of the pieces, if I'm reading it correctly, is, well, there's two pieces to this one, that we're supposed to, I know we always have a public budget hearing, but we usually, I think, have it in April in anticipation for the May town meeting. But according to the Student Opportunity Act, we're supposed to have that before April 1st?
April 1st, yep, we
So-
have to do a community forum, and Jennifer and I were having a conversation. The first thing we have to do is identify what subgroup we're going to.
Right.
So that really is what we have to do. So we said we're gonna do that next week, take a look at where we're gonna identify. I mean, we have some ideas, but they have certain criteria, you know, what
Seems like
subgroup
we're
are you
doing some
ident-
of them,
Well,
though.
we only have $39,000,
Right,
and it's
but
gotta
one
be-
of them was a pathway, and we've got the engineering
So
pathway in that.
we just have to show what students are not being served, and that's where we have to
That's the
find the
first
data.
part.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah, we're,
So if we can just keep
Yep,
that, as we're
yep,
gonna
well,
have
we
to
have
do
to-
our budget public hearing earlier than we normally do to meet
well,
that
I don't
April.
think, I think we can just have a parent forum with the.
Well, no, I think it said actually a budget hearing,
Oh, I didn't
if I
remember
read
reading
it.
that part.
It just came in today, it was just it was just the
I
brochure
took the
that we
webinar, they
get.
didn't mention that.
So.
We can go back and look.
Just
Yeah, I
check.
can go back and look. I
Just
did,
check,
yeah.
just so that we're, you know, doing what we're supposed to. And I think Kate said on Saturday that since we are only getting 39,000, that there was gonna be, a task force was being put together. Did I hear that correctly? To try and push for those communities like us that are only getting 40,000 when other
And then we have to
communities-
spend it for 3 years with data-driven decision-making and show how we're making results with
For
$39,000.
39,000.
Okay.
Maybe did I mishear that, or was
There-
That was my impression.
Okay, I'm gonna, if that's okay, I'm gonna reach out to her and just say, we're like all over that one. What were you
Yeah,
saying?
I know, I think there was something in the law about, like, they would have these, like, basically, like, monitor, I don't know the right word it was, but like, different, like, so similar districts would be able to, and I don't know if that's what
Task
you're,
force, I think
you're
is-
thinking of, because that was something that was very appealing.
Right.
Yeah, so that she spoke about it when she and Jamie were here.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was about trying to say for any, recognizing that there are.
The fringe,
Yeah, that don't really benefit because the unique constellation. And she brought it up because Maynard being one of those.
Right. And she brought it up on Saturday too, 'cause
I asked her.
oh, is that how
She
it
brought
was?
it up,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, but thank you for that, so.
Yeah.
Follow up on that one.
So, and so, yeah, it would be great if you
Yeah,
want to check in with her
consider it
more
done.
about that and see, because they did, it seemed like they were saying they were, and she seemed to, in follow-up, be saying they really wanted to look into that. So it'd be, I think we'd be a perfect candidate to be a part of
Perfect.
discussing.
And then just a couple of accolades. Today I met second grade, the 100 Day that every year the kids celebrate, and the second grade brought over 400 food items for the food pantry, that the whole second grade did the 100 Day, and they all donated, which was very, very sweet.
that's cute.
And Fowler, the Fowler School, did a whole cereal fundraiser for the backpack program, for the food pantry backpacks, so those are two great things. And last, the Taste is happening on Sunday, March 1st, for the Maynard Education Foundation. It's our big fundraiser, that we have a great selection of restaurants like we usually do, and then people pay to come in and eat to their heart's content, and it's the money that is raised is the money that then the Maynard Education Foundation gives out to grants to teachers and students and administrators. So we'd love to have everybody here be there. So anyway, that's it.
Great, thank you. I honestly, I've said everything else I need to say, except with subcommittee meetings, we're setting regular meetings for policy so that we'll just be able to keep banging things out. And we have regular meetings we're setting for communication subcommittee. So those will all be happening within the next few weeks.
That's good.
All right, anything else?
I wanted to just add, because I saw in the email earlier, high schooler Jordan Tucker was a female basketball player.
Yeah, Patrick.
Patrick
Yeah.
acknowledged us.
Okay,
1,000
okay.
points.
Yes, I just wanted
It's
to.
pretty amazing.
That was. I just saw when I saw the picture, I just wanted to really, my daughters watch them play basketball, and they play basketball. So, yes, I just wanted to echo that, how amazing I'm going to accomplish 1,000 career points.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
women
in
in
3
sports.
generations.
Yes, in 3 generations.
Yeah.
Yes, so women in sports, love it. That's it.
Cool.
Very good.
All right, I'm just trying to listen to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I was gonna say,
I make
nobody
a
wants
motion. We're all so tired, we can't even talk.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? All right, adjourned at 9:01 PM. Thank you, everybody.
Yay.
Mary, you have to vote on the plan.